Well, welcome everyone. How are you? I am so glad you're with me today. My name is Edna White, and of course, you know what course you're on today. So I want to get started by just asking you all where you're from. If you could put it in the chat and just say, welcome, and I'm from wherever. So I'm from Long Island, New York. So let's see what you have in the chat. Tell me where you're from. Cool, Texas. Nice. Utah, nice. Michigan, nice. Oh, Toronto, nice. Okay. So I'm really excited about this class because I think this class, we've always talked about finding ourselves, where we're going to be, finding our purpose, our passion, being creative, all of this great stuff. But we never really find out how to do it. And that is a really good thing to know, is how do you do it? How do you find yourself? What is that all about? So my name is Edna White. I am an author. I am an entrepreneur. I'm also an instructor for real estate, as well as any other classes. I teach a lot of empowerment to those who are homeless and underserved. I am also a podcast host and a speaker. So I do enjoy what I do, and that's why I'm doing this today, because I think that everyone should know something. If they know something, they should tell somebody about it. So I'm going to ask you a question now. Now, of course, this is very interactive, so you're going to have to put it in the chat. Now, I'm going to ask maybe about 5 questions along the way that have to do with self-discovery. So I'm going to ask, the first question is, and it's a hard question. So it takes some thinking. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, all right? So what is your favorite part of your personality? What is your favorite part of your personality? And you can put it in a chat or you can write it down, but you have to know what your favorite part of your personality is. I can tell you mine. Mine is the fact that I have empathy for whoever I'm speaking to. Oh, bluntness and freedom. Okay, bluntness. Okay, I like that. No filter. Okay, all right. That's good. My kindness, humbleness, and empathy. Good listener. Very good. And empathetic. Good. Good listener. All right. So since Shelly's the last one, Shelly, I'm going to ask you to answer this question, then pick on somebody in the group to have them answer. So we're going to do this 3 times, all right? Do you get it? I'm going to ask the question, you answer it, then you pick somebody to answer the question in the group. All right, you ready? All right. What is something that has always been important to you? So Shelly, you answer it. And then you pick someone. Are you ready? Shelly, did you answer? Am I picking on the wrong one? Okay, it goes. Okay, just a minute. Oh, all right. All right, I count you down. Should really have like music, like that kind of music. Should really have that going on. Oh, something and they follow through. When they say something, when someone says something and they follow through. Okay, who do you choose to answer the question next? Anybody in the group? Anastasia. Okay, Anastasia, give me an answer. Hey, hey. Do you remember the question? What is something that has always been important to you? Let me see what she says. Okay. What? Let me read it again. Okay. So you're doing something. Oh, keeping your word. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Saying something. Okay. Good. Now, who do you choose? Oh, you don't ghost them. Well, they were just liars in the beginning, but that's another story. Pick someone, Anastasia. Dolores. Dolores, you have to answer. What is something that has always been important to you? Dolores, are you here? I don't know. Dolores. Jennifer. Okay. Go, Jennifer. Jennifer, are you there? Oh, boy. Oh, Jennifer, yay. Honesty. Good. Did I say 3, right? Okay, so you wonder why I ask you these questions, right? I ask you these questions because these are questions that define who you are, what's most important. So there could be like maybe 100 questions, but there are 70 questions you need to ask yourself to unearth what your true self is. So when I say finding yourself, meaning there is a self under all of the stuff because we're living and sometimes acting and sometimes uh, by habit patterning some of the stuff that people tell us. So, but we really don't know who we are. We really don't know what we want. If I were to walk up to you today, which I can't walk, but I'm here. I'm going to say, what do you really want? You'd be like, you'd have to think about it, right? Really deeply think about it, right? Right? You really have to really, what do I want? What do I really like? So you really have to really think about it. What we're going to talk about today is some ways on how to take away a lot of that stuff, take away the layers so you can really know how to find yourself and what yourself really looks like. All right? So let me get started. I'm going to try my hand at the sharing thing. All right, share the screen. And I'm going to do this. Share here. All righty. Can you see this? Yes, can everybody see? No? Okay, all right, here we go. So we're gonna do full screen. Something crazy. Okay, so how to figure yourself out. That's what we're in today. We're gonna be talking about how to figure yourself out. And again, my name is Edna White, and you know me now. So to figure yourself out, you have to find out who you are. To find yourself first, learn about yourself. Finding the real person is you experiencing you. So if you are figuring yourself out, you have to find yourself, right? If you find yourself, you then have to define yourself. So there's a lot of feelings involved in this. Okay, so the what this takes is a lot of digging. And if you ever dug a hole before, You know how strenuous it is. And the deeper you go, the more work, the more sweating, the more everything happens. So this is going to be your project, your commitment to yourself to really dig hard, because it's not going to be easy, but it is going to be worth it, because you're going to feel 100 pounds lighter. I promise you. I promise you that. So the first thing you have to do is start relying on yourself. We rely on bigger pictures, right? Like, say we rely on when we babies, yeah, we relied on our parents, okay? But we rely on other people to give us information. We rely on, if we have a problem, we kind of put that problem on other people. We rely on people so very much that we lose our self-worth, lose who we really are, and we kind of like back up in the shell of ourselves. Confidence and reliance are the heart of finding yourself. So you gotta have confidence. And if you have any questions, please hold them to the end, and I will definitely give you time to ask the questions, okay? So start relying on yourself. If you don't have a solid sense of self-worth, you're just not going to be able to listen to yourself. Forget about others. We're not going to listen. And at this point, we're not listening to anyone else, because we listened up until this very point. If you're 40, if you're 30, if you're 60, whatever the age is, you've listened and taken in everybody's existence except for your own. You've sang to everybody's tune. You've fulfilled all the roles that people said you needed to fulfill. You've done that, but now you're in a place that you really want to learn yourself. You have to learn to believe in yourself and trust your own feelings. That's another thing. We don't trust how we feel. If we don't feel good, what did we do when we were in our roles as parents, as husbands, wives, girlfriends, caregivers? What did we do? We weren't feeling good, so what did we do? We pressed on anyway. We just did it anyway. We just moved on. And guess what that did? It led us to a place that we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust that maybe we don't feel good. Maybe we want to take a nap today. But start relying on yourself. Start building your confidence. So how do you get to that place of your confidence? How do you get to the place of your self-reliance? It all comes in time, but it's all centered around yourself, on knowing who you are and what you want. Now, I talked about in the beginning we've been getting other people's feedback for years. We've been getting everything: be a lawyer, be a doctor, be a nurse, be a dad, gotta go to bed, turn the corner, all these crazy things, right? We've been told, we've been talked to, told, directed, guided, everything. And we still don't know where we are, who we are. We still don't know what we really want out of life. So it's time for you to distinguish your thoughts from other people's thoughts, right? The big one that I just learned, and let me just tell you this: healing is a continuous thing, because you'll always be a different level at any time. So don't think healing is just one time. It's over and over and over and over again. Okay. So the biggest thing for me is, I always heard my grandmother say, "I'm a Baptist and I'm gonna die a Baptist," right? And I didn't, at the time, I didn't know what a Baptist was. I just thought it meant that she was a Black, little small woman, because she was like only 4'8". So I thought, oh, that's what it meant. But it meant a religious kind of thing. Okay. Even though she never went to church, and her mother was a Baptist, so that's what she said she was going to be. That's what she was told what she was. That's what she's going to be. Because I guess it made a difference in some way. So when I started to figure out my religious values, of course, that was embedded in me, and then other stuff was embedded in me. So I had to learn to really struggle learning about where I fit in my religious journey. Because out of the 5 pillars of a full life, abundant life, is spirituality. You don't have to have the same spiritual life as someone else or even your own family. So we have to distinguish our thoughts and our journey from other people's thoughts and their journey. Because a lot of the information that's given to us is basically from other people. It's from our immediate family. It's from people that we trust that are sharing not your journey, but their journey. Not seeing your side of it, but their side of it. This is what I did, and this is what you should do. So the reality is that we don't have a map, but we can create our own lives. We don't have to go to school. We don't have to get a job. We don't have to get married. We don't have to think like this, that, the other way. We don't have to do any of that. We don't have to do anything unless we want to. And it's in your time. All right? You build the space for you to create your life. So the first exercise would be to sit down with yourself. And I often tell a lot of my clients that they're always saying, oh, I'm very busy. And I was like, yeah, well, busy to me means you're doing this and you're getting no result. So I said, what did you do productive today? Well, I made some phone calls. I said, were they productive? So I don't use busy. I really don't. I use productive because I want to at least do, if I have 5 things, I want to at least do 3, and be productive for the day. But sit down with yourself, all right? And not be busy. And it's important to know the difference between loneliness and solitude. Solitude is enjoying the moment where you are, when you are, how you are, and absorbing everything in that moment, right? As you can see the pictures, one of the pictures, the woman is sitting on a log, looking out at the water, enjoying every moment of it. See somebody walking on a boardwalk. They're walking and enjoying every moment of it. Someone here is also, skateboarding, and they're enjoying every moment of it. Because if they weren't enjoying every moment, I'm pretty sure that they would probably fall and hurt themselves. Now, as you sit down with yourself, you come up with a timeline. So you come up with a timeline, almost like a resume. So when did you go to school? And then under that, you'd put, why did I go to school? So you have all these beliefs, right? That you have. So the 5 pillars are spirituality, socializing, which is fun, health and wellness, finances, and mental stability. So those 5 things center around why you do the things you do. So when did you finish school, your college? Write that down as a timeline, or just grab your resume. There you go. That's a great one. Grab your resume and start going through each one. Why did I do this? What was the result? Am I still using this skill? Am I still doing that? And really get a sense of the basis of what you were told and the basis of what you really want in your life. Because listen, we all have gone to school because our parents may have told us, or a caregiver may have recommended, or went to the army or the service, or or got a type of job. We've all listened to outside sources, but then we ended up not being pretty happy about it. So this is a way to really just sit down and write out, or take your resume and say, write on there, why did I do that? Was it good? Was it a great idea? Am I still there? And go through the resume and really look at it. Was I happy at this job? And what did I get out of this job? Go through the resume and really pull out all those good things, the good things that were you and not someone else's thoughts. Now, once you do this, this is going to be very overwhelming, because it's almost like, I didn't even like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I didn't want to do that. And those things start to erase itself, right? So you're going to begin on a clean slate to develop your own 5 pillars, right? You're going to be developing how you live spiritually, how you want to live spiritually, not how everyone else wants you to live spiritually, how you want to be financially, how you want to be, socially and have fun and be creative, how you want to show that, right? How you want to be mentally sound, how you want to be well, healthy in your physical body. You're now going to develop and conduct a practice. So you begin on a clean slate, because we are the creators of our own lives, right? We're the creators. And sometimes we do bring in bad habits into our lives, and they stick around. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but they stick around. So, but you don't want to be subject to them if they're interfering in your life. So you have to begin again and let yourself off the hook. Because I remember years ago, when I was on my journey, I call it sidestep, because I was on somebody else's journey. Someone told me that this is the route I'm supposed to go. And I was finding some success, but not happiness, because success and happiness have to go together for me. And so I was like, okay, let me step to the side and smell some roses. So when I stepped to the side, I noticed another road. And when I noticed the other road, I took the other road, and I started to see about myself. Began again. I made a clean slate for myself. I overcame some bad habits of listening to other people, and that's a bad habit, of eating the way I was, of doing things that I was, or being with other people that I wasn't, and acting certain ways. Those are things that we really have to take into consideration when we take these steps to begin to find ourselves. So the other thing is organizing your world. So when you organize your world, a lot of times I do work with clients that have, situations with keeping things too long or holding on to things too long. And I do work with them. And I often say, what you see on the outside is what is going on the inside. So, Kate, your mind is really full of things and holding on to things because there's reasons. So you have to organize your world. You have to get to the point that things are organized, and you have to have order, because if you don't have order, how do you expect to grab hold of yourself? If you don't have order, if you're all over the place and you're doing 1,000 things and how do you expect to find yourself? If you're busy, how do you expect to find yourself? How do you expect to see a clear path to you? Right? So a lot of it is cleaning up. A lot of it could be just doing some paperwork or homework that you're supposed to do for your business or for school, whatever you have to do. Resolving an issue or a fight with a friend. Getting everything out of the way. That's what I call on the journey. There's these rocks and these boulders that you have to kick out the way. That means you have to put some effort in removing it so that you can have a clear path through. And if you are really honest with yourself, you'll be unstoppable. See, we can sit and we can talk about excuses, or we can have excuses, or we can say that we don't have this, we don't have that. But when you really get to this is when you start organizing yourself and writing things down and journaling and caring about yourself, when you really start doing that, you start changing things and things become priority for you. You really start moving towards clearing your schedule, making time to do things that are important to you. And that's how you gain your confidence, right? Because when you don't do something, don't you feel bad? You're like, oh, and you start like, oh, beating yourself up. You are your worst enemy when it comes down to beating yourself up in your confidence. You can't do that. So the way to do that is organize yourself, get yourself prioritized. My clients always tell me, there's not enough time in the day. I've said, of course there is. Everyone has 24 hours. It's what you have a priority that matters. So when you get organized, get clear, then you move forward. Then you know how to do that. Okay, so there's some things that you should know. Be honest with yourself. Consider solitude and be responsible. When you're finding yourself, ask yourself the difficult questions about your interests and your beliefs. Record your answers as a way to get to know your core self. Solitude. There's time that you need to be in solitude, meaning you can go to a library and sit with headphones on and just study, or just write, or just journal. But you need to spend some time alone each day to contemplate your life and what you really want in a calm, judgment-free zone. Because if you're hanging out with your friends, or you're hanging with your girls, or whoever you hang out with, your family, you can say to them, hey, I want to be an engineer, and you're 60, right? They're like, that's too late for you to be worried about being an engineer. You can't be in it. But if you yourself are sitting alone, you're your best own cheerleader. You're sitting in solitude, thinking about that, in the calmness. You develop steps along the way to get there. Then there's responsibility. Take responsibility for your decisions and learn to trust your judgment. When you make some mistakes, and yeah, we all do that, try to see them as learning opportunities, because that's what I do. Is when I make a mistake, oh, well, at least I got this done, or at least this happened. And I try to find the good in it to learn a lesson, so that I'm not focused on the negative part of things. Seek a passion. I said in the 5 pillars, there's a fun time, a social time, fun, creative. If you know that you love to do something, do it. Incorporate that in your day, in your week, so that you become more fulfilled, more balanced, so you can really hone that skill. If you're terrific at drawing, writing, riding a horse, working with animals, working in the garden, decorating, fashion, sewing things together, electronics. If you're great at that, put some effort in. You are your best investment. Put some effort in honing those skills and pursue that, because you will become ultimately fulfilled. And on top of that, your confidence will build. Find a mentor or a coach, somebody you trust to be an incredible resource for you to, help you get past these bumps in the roads, move over them, or navigate around them, because you're definitely worth trusting, and you're definitely worth investing in. So invest in yourself. These are things that you need to invest in for yourself. Another thing you need to know is you need to let go of people pleasing. Take the responsibility for your decisions and learn to trust your own judgment, right? When you make mistakes, try to see them as learning opportunities, but take them and let go of pleasing people. If you were doing something to please somebody and didn't work out, it probably wasn't for you to do. So take that responsibility, yeah, that wasn't for me, or take the responsibility of, not or, but, and take the responsibility of saying no to a person or no to something and leave it at that and take it, I made a decision. No, I'm not going to do it. And because I have too much on my plate. And I always say no is a statement with a period. It doesn't need a comma to explain. No is a statement with a period. So always let go of that, of people pleasing. You don't have to please everybody. Not everyone's gonna like you. Not everyone's gonna cheer for you. Big deal, as long as you're confident and you are your own best cheerleader. And you have to know that. Don't misconstrue. When you get so confident, I'm going to say, oh, hey. But I always tell everybody, listen, I am so confident in what I do. Don't mix it up with my ego, because my ego tells me to do bad things. My confidence tells me to do everything great for me and all those around me. Okay? So remember that. So I want to thank you guys for being here, because I'm going to leave the rest of this important part for questions and talking and having, just to having a conversation around it, because I think it's more important to have a conversation around this. Okay, so I want you to be able to share something and just share what you want, or ask a question on anything that I have spoken about finding yourself. Okay, so the floor is open, and you can unmute yourself and ask the question. And if you have an answer to it, if you just want to chime in and add a comment to the question, you're more than welcome to. But please raise your hand first. Okay. Anyone have a question? Let me check the chat. Oh, no questions. Oh my goodness. No questions? Oh. Okay, someone said I didn't hear the definition of loneliness. Oh, solitude is different from loneliness. Loneliness is when it includes a depressive feeling. Solitude is when you're enjoying the moment, where you are, what you're doing, and feeling every moment of it. I often tell my story about when I really understood what moment was, is I was washing dishes. I never felt, which is crazy, I never felt, the dishwashing liquid, never felt that on my hands before. And as I was doing it, I was like, wait, I never felt how soft Dawn really is. I see the commercial, but I never felt it. And that's when I realized that I was in the moment. Normally before then, I'd be washing the dishes, throwing in the dishwasher, I was going crazy. Like, I got to get to the next thing. But I really, I felt the soap. I felt how soft it made my hands, felt the bubbles, felt the warm water. I felt the grunge on the dishes. I was like, wow, I never felt that before. Solitude brings you that awareness about you and around your surrounding. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? You can just unmute yourself if you want. Anyone? No? Okay. All right. Oh, Jessica, you have a question?
I don't. I was just unmute myself. Just thank you very much, though. I really appreciate this. I'm learning a lot.
Oh, no problem. Okay. So what we're going to do an exercise. Don't leave just yet. Don't leave yet. We're going to do an exercise. We're going to do exercise, a whole exercise. So it's going to be great. So I want you guys to get out your pens, because this is going to be like an exercise that I'm going to kind of like time you, but it's going to be a good exercise for you. But give me a moment. Okay. Now we all know that, just finding out what you want. And trauma has been like a big thing for me, finding out. When I found out who I was in my 40s. When I found out what I like to do, I was in my 40s because I experienced trauma. And I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse from the age of 5 to 15. And it was very hard for me to kind of come out of that story. And I came out literally through therapy and like literally therapy. I mean, therapy and getting everything I could out of therapy. But more than that, the therapist that I worked with gave me tools. And that's why I think I'm like I am, because I like to give away tools, people's tools to work with, because I'm not gonna be around forever, and they're gonna need to be in the world. So you need to have tools, right? You need to have tools to really kind of grow. So what I'm going to do with you today is it's called self-awareness. Now, finding yourself is self-awareness. It's just that's what it is. Okay. That's all it is. And I'm going to give you, I'm going to also give you at the end of this, if you give me an email address, or I'll just put it in the event, self-compassion exercises. There'll be 3 of them. So they'll be in there that you can do them on your own time, but we're going to go through one just real quick. Okay. So we're going to do one just real quick. And most of them have to do with meditation. And I usually meditate. Now there's all kind of ways. There's not just the one sitting with your eyes closed. Trust me, like this, there's more. I mean, you can do anything. You could just sit in a chair and just breathe. It is so many ways to meditate and actually get everything, get everything you need out of what you do. Okay. So now I want you to write these questions down. Ready? I'll say them slowly. I'll say them twice. Number 1, what is one of your sparks or your passions or your talents? That's 1. What is one of your sparks, your passions, your interests, or your talents? Question 2, how did you discover that this is one of your sparks? How did you discover it? How did you discover that this is one of your sparks? Question 3, how do you feel when you are doing your spark? How do you feel? Okay. Okay, let's see. What's the next one? Am I still doing the screen thing? Hold on. I think so. Hold on. Sorry about that. You got those questions? How do I just, okay. All right. And is somebody raising their hand? And you raising your hand? Oh, okay. All right. All right.
No,
all right.
sorry.
Okay. And I'm sorry. Oh, okay. And number 4, think of somebody who is really into their spark or their passion. So think of like a mentor, somebody like, if you like soccer, I don't know all the soccer players. I don't know them. Sorry about that. I don't know. I should know. Okay. So, like I love football. I love Tom Brady. Don't write me and tell me, oh, forget about Tom Brady. I love him. Okay. I just love him. And I follow him with the Buccaneers right now. Okay. So if I was into football, I was a football player, I would think about how he feels about how he's passionate about what he does. Okay. So think about somebody who is really passionate about their spark. They're really into it. And then describe what you see. Describe what you see. Number 4, again, think of somebody who is really into their spark or their passion, then describe what you see. Number 5, do you have a spark champion? So is there someone in your community, maybe even in your family, or somebody you know that you can reach out to help you develop your self-awareness? Is there anyone like that around you that you can really work with to help you discover your self-awareness? And number 6, I want you to set goals and make plans to get better at your spark or your talent. So if you know what your spark or talent is, you should be doing that at least once a week. Now, granted, I'm a social butterfly. I love socializing. I just found out that's not a skill. Not a skill, but it's not a talent. It's fun, but it's not. Because if you're an extrovert, you love doing that. Yeah, but it's not a talent. So, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot use that as your passion. Passion means something that you do and only you can do, that you feel nobody else. It gives you that feeling like, wow, I did what I love today. And if you didn't do it, you would feel miserable. So what is it that makes you feel like that? If I didn't do it, I would be a whole mess. So understand, now that's the type of exercise you're going to be getting on these questionnaires. Now, in those questions, there's going to be other questions that says, am I strong in this area? That means you got to get really, really, really serious with yourself, like really honest. We could say, yeah, I got it all together, but then, nah, you might not. So this is when you be really honest with yourself. And then the second one is, I struggle with, and a lot of us don't like to admit what we struggle with, but if you admit it, you know what it is, and guess what? You can deal with it. You can work on it. But if you don't admit it and you put it away, then again, you have to unearth all of that to get back down to you. And it's really easy. It's really easy. Once you start this, uncovering all of this stuff, you feel like $1 million. You really feel like $1 million. Just a little bit right there, you will unearth great stuff. Okay? You got to find out what your favorite things are, and here's another great tip. All of us have triggers, whether they trigger us to extremes or whether they trigger us to, just be a little anxious, But we have to know what our triggers are. We have to know what they are. All right? We have to really be aware of what our triggers are so that we can really get them, really understand, so nobody can tick us off. It's like, if I know what triggers me, then when somebody says it, then I'll know how to walk away, if that makes sense. Or I know how to deal with it. If that makes sense. I know that if I'm at work, okay, and I know that there's a jokester in the building that always likes to use all the information they know to kind of get you upset, that person's not going to trigger you because you know that, right? So, but if you know your triggers, you know what triggers you, guess what you're not going to do? You never give the enemy any information anyway. So don't ever do that. Don't ever give people too much information. But you're gonna know what your weaknesses are, and you're going to fall back and fall onto your strengths. So your strength would be, if your skill is to laugh and make a joke, so you can switch the conversation. Great. Or if your strength is getting blunt, as some would say, and directing them for another way, maybe that's what it is. Okay. But at least you know what your weakness is, and then you can be able to not deflect, but be able to communicate it effectively with the skill that you have. That makes sense. Okay, any other questions? So these are like exercises that you're really going to like get into for the, for the next week. I would say for the next week, I mean, really get into it because it's going to take a lot of work. You're gonna need a journal. You're gonna need one, and you focus on, the things that you need to find out who you really are. Now, for all those that did come on today, I've written a book that's called The Big Ask, and I wish I had it available sitting here, but I don't. I'm going to email you all a copy, and what it is, it's a guidebook. So you can get it off of Amazon for free because you all are here, and you just have to give me your email address. You could DM them. You could DM me. Okay, this is what I'll do. Here's my email address. All right, and I'm going to email you a free access from Amazon Kindle for The Big Ask, and I will, if you need the PDF that you can print out on your own, I'll do that as well. So you can, if you want this book, this book has all these questions, and you're able to write in the book as well. So just for coming here today, I'm going to give that to you all for free. Plus the worksheets, the worksheets with 3 things on them. Okay. Are there any questions? Any more questions? Okay. So I put my email in the chat for you to, and I'm going to, if you want me to send the PDFs, all of everything in the the worksheets and the book, if you want me to send it to you in the email instead of putting it on the event itself, just when you email me, tell me I want everything on email, and I'll reply. I have my assistant send you everything. Okay? Sounds good? Okay. If there are no more questions, thank you all for coming. And if you have any questions at all, my email's there. All right. Make sure you have a question. Oh, Anastasia, you posted a question? I'm sorry. Where's that? It's getting lost in the emails, in the chat. Anastasia, can you ask the question? Where are you? Anastasia. Can you ask the question? Hey, can you ask?
So the question is, if I'm over anal, like an OCD with notes verbally, but like mentally, I can't get up and just do it. So how do I like get up and do it when it's time to get up and do it and stop being a piece of shit?
Oh, well, that's easy. Well, you got to do one step at a time. So, and this is what I would tell you. I was in a car accident that rendered me unable to walk for 8 months, right? And I learned a lot during that time. I had 2 broken hips. I broke the largest bone in my body. The engine of my car, after I crashed into a pole, sat on my lap and and broke my femurs and everything. So I learned a lot, they told me 20% to live, 20%, but I'm here. So, but here's what I did. When I wanted to walk early, what I did is took 1 step out of the bed. 1 step, that's all, and sat back down. Why don't you do that? 1 step and sit back down. Do you know what I'm saying? The next day, 1, 2, and sit back down. That's a victory. It's a whole victory, lady. Okay? That's a whole victory. I will be cheering you on. When you get to 5, I'll be like, hey, you did it. You did it. High 5. All right? So you can do it. It's just 1 step at a time. We're not asking for 20. We're asking for 1. And that's what I did every day. I did it for 8 months until I could walk out the door. I had to slide down the stairs because I lived on the 2nd floor, had to scoot down the stairs. I took one step a day. One step, that's all I did. So all I'm starting to use, don't make your goals so big, make them one step. Make them one step, that's all, okay? Does that make sense for you? You're welcome. And if you have any questions, Anastasia, please email me. I think my email's here. Did you see it, guys?
Yes.
You're welcome. Okay. Yep, so my email's here. Just ask for the Big Ask. It's called the Big Ask, the guidebook. And I will send it to you with the three worksheets for self-awareness. All right, I'm writing that now. All right. So make sure you email, and everyone please just email me, okay? And I'll have the assistant send it right out to you. If you didn't get it, holler out to me, say, hey, Edna, I didn't get it, okay? But I will send it out to you by tomorrow, okay? Are there any other questions that I missed? Anyone else? Okay, what was it? Okay, see the emails here. Okay. Shelly asked me, Shelly, you there? How do you get past the perfection side? Oh, I lost it. Oh, goodness. How do you get... Shelly, I lost you. I lost it. I can't find it. How you want to know about perfectionism? Shelly? You want to know about perfectionism? I'm sorry, my chat is weirdo. Acting weirdo. Okay. So how do you get past perfectionism? Okay. Why do you want something perfect? Shelly, I like to hear your voice if that's okay, because I got a trick for you. Okay, you feel like a failure. Okay. Why do you feel like a failure? Why do you feel like a failure, Shelly?
You're muted, Shelly.
Yeah, you're muted. Oh, okay. Let's see.
Okay, can you hear me?
All right, I hear you now. Yep. So
Okay.
why do you feel like a failure?
I think that it stems from the fact that being the only girl, I never measured up to my brothers. And so I was always trying to be perfect enough to meet the standard, to be good enough that my dad would recognize that I was equal to my brothers. And so I am consistently trying to still be perfect enough,
Mm-hmm.
which still never seems to be good enough. And so whenever I can't do something that in my eyes is perfect, then it's not good enough. It'll never be good enough. It's never been good enough, so it will not be good enough. So even if it's a small victory, say I cook something and it turns out, but it doesn't taste exactly how I want it to, for me, it's a failure. It's not, I have a hard time distinguishing or letting myself think, okay, it's still a victory. It tastes good. It may not taste exactly how I wanted it to. It tastes good, so it's still a victory. My brain still says, but it's still a failure. So how do you get past that distinction of is still a victory and that's fine, rather than feeding back into the...
It's a play of words. So you know that there's two things, good and bad, right?
Yeah,
You just know that. And your brain deciphers that. As soon as you hear bad, it's like, oh, but you said something. So what about using a word? What about just saying another word instead of it's not good, but it's, you're saying, okay, let's do this. Take out the word not. So tell me about the recipe and I'll tell you how to do this. Tell me, what was it that you were cooking? Something that you always cook all the time and didn't taste that great? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So has it tasted well? Has it tasted the same all the time?
It tasted fine until my mom passed away and it was her recipe, but then it started not tasting right.
Okay. So it started not tasting right because of your mother. Ah, okay. So this is your mother's recipe. So it's now become your recipe and it doesn't taste like your mother. So
Right,
you first of all, you have two things going on. You have the good girl syndrome. That's number one. Everything has to be good because daddy, you got to be trying to be daddy's girl. So that's a
right,
syndrome all by itself. Then you're comparing yourself to mom because again, you have to be a good girl to be noticed by mom who loves your dad that doesn't really pay attention to you. So that's
right.
the whole layer of stuff, right? Now you got to bring yourself back to when you were a little girl, right? Just when you're small, when you're young. So how would you reparent yourself to say, if you made a mud pie, how it would taste? How would you reparent yourself? You, not your mother, you. If you were talking to your little self right now, the one that wanted to get dad's attention, how would you talk to her?
I would bend down and I'd be like, oh, this is so fabulous. You did such a great job. It is so good, and pretend to eat it, and, pats on the shoulder and loves and just those
You
kinds of
just
things.
did it. You just did it. Just bring yourself back to a little girl because that's where you need to heal from. You're trying to heal an adult that's a broken child. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you need to be the parent. So just like you envision that, whenever you do something, right? Whenever you do something and you feel like it's not great, it's not perfect because you're starting to compare. You see what you just did? It was mom's because she passed away. It was mom's. Tasted good, but then mom died and didn't. But you're cooking it. So you have to go and reparent yourself. So every time you feel like a failure, zoom down, zoom, and go down and say, it's okay. It tastes great. You did a great job. You're keeping mom's recipe alive. You keep doing this. Okay? You're doing great. And you get up. You reparent yourself. Okay?
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's really all right. I did a class on a 5-day challenge on healing your inner child, and I have all the steps. I will be more than happy to send you every video.
That'd be fantastic.
Okay, all right. I would definitely give, and they're all on Zoom, so I'll send them all to you. Okay, I'll give you access to my no problem, Shelly. If anybody else on here wants it too, that's fine too. But send it to me in the email. Tell me to send it because I got a bad memory. Bad memory.
Okay, so do I. Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, Shelly. And listen, anytime you need, you could just email me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I will send everybody the videos as well. Shelly, you can do this. I'm telling you, I did it for myself because I was a wounded adult. I was mad at the world. I was mad at my parents, and I didn't know how to communicate effectively. And I had to realize that I was acting out. The reason why I had bad behaviors was, comparing myself is because my child was doing it, not the adult. The adult doesn't want to act like a child, but the child inside acts out when it's not healed. So you have to be the one. You have to be the one to do that. And the good girl syndrome is I'm telling you, I've had it. It's hard. It's very hard because you become a perfectionist and everything has to look good because you're trying to be, live up to the past and you can't.
Yeah, and I end up applying it to every part of my life,
Yep.
not just with my dad or with my mom's recipes, but I apply it to every relationship or everything that I try and do.
Mm-hmm. And you're not going to be perfect.
Right.
You're just not. There's going to be in this life. It's all about the mistakes. It's never always about the perfection. It's all about the mistakes. What you do with those mistakes, that's the lesson. Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
So
I don't
much.
want to hold you. You're welcome. I don't want to hold you all too long, but Someone said, let me see, who is that? Anastasia said if anybody wants to talk, she sent her email as well. So yeah, let's do that. I will send everyone everything. And again, I'm available. I do have more of these workshops coming up. So definitely invite you all back. All right. But thank you all for being here. And if there's no more questions, I'm going to let you guys go eat or wherever you are in the world. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, everyone.